Hey guys, Lindsay here. I wanted to talk about Anchor for a second. If you don't know what Anchor is, it's the easiest free way to start a podcast. All you have to do is download the app or go to anchor.fm to get started. You can do everything that you need to do for your podcast from the app. You can record, you can edit, you can share, and you can share to places like Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It makes creating a podcast super easy. We want to hear what you have to say, so download Anchor and start your podcast today.
This podcast is proudly part of the Paranormality Radio Network. Visit paranormalityradio.com to find binge-worthy podcasts dedicated to all things paranormal and creepy. From conspiracy to cryptid, you'll find it here.
Welcome to I
have a strange
story podcast.
Nailed it.
I didn't say hello. That's what threw everyone else.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, you just counted it down. But
Sorry.
Hey, we like to mix things up a little bit, keep it fresh.
Hello.
And I've been told I can't keep I can't keep a rhythm with other people for some reason. I don't know.
Oh no. Well, go ahead.
Welcome to the podcast where two sisters retell people's strange stories and paranormal experiences. I'm Lindsay, and we have Rebecca, and we have a guest too.
Hello. You can't see my hand sometimes.
Yeah.
So, do you want to introduce yourself, Saul?
Yes. My name is Saul. I've been on the podcast once before with one of my other co-hosts for a podcast of mine. I have two podcasts. I have my older podcast, which is Nerds from the Crypt, where we review horror movies, television series, and actually interview creators about comic books, books, novels, whatever, anything that has a creative side to it that has to do with horror. And I actually started another podcast with my wife, which is Waitingonmiracle, which is in the background here. And it is a story where we've just started it last week. We're going to be releasing an episode every 2 weeks, and we're going to be just telling our story of first episode was how we met. Then it's going to continue going on to where we are trying to have our baby. Now we're trying to get pregnant, but we've had some issues along the way. So it's going to be our journey going through there. And we're going to be asking people to come on the podcast to tell their story and what they went through and all that.
That's amazing.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a really great idea to share experiences and gain understanding. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, it's a long road. It's been 2 years now that we've been trying. So hopefully we're waiting on some news here. So maybe we can update the podcast a lot sooner than we're hoping.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah,
cool.
Well, I got to listen to the first episode. It's amazing. It's so the way that y'all communicate together and just the way that the story flows is really good. It sucked me in. I've never had children, and I can't have children, but it was great to listen to. And your wife Tabitha has an amazing voice. Like she's just so good at talking.
Becky actually heard the hour and 10-minute version of it, and we cut it down to 40 minutes at the end because it was this is a lot of story.
Yeah, but it was all good. It all flowed really well, and it was really sweet. I liked it. So thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah.
I'm over here entertained by turning into a ghost over here.
Yeah, I know it's getting a little bit creepy. Just in the beginning of this, sometimes your hand disappears, your shoulder is gone. So your ear is gone now. I don't know what's there's something strange happening right this moment. So Saul's come on to talk about some of his crazy stuff. You've heard him before. He had the story about Bigfoot.
Bigfoot framed my dog.
Bigfoot framing the dog, that asshole. Yeah.
I've actually had people tell me, because I heard your story about Bigfoot framing your dog. I'm like, yeah, stupid Bigfoot.
I know. Like, I love the guy, but in this case, I do not. So yeah, listen to that episode. I'll have that episode in the show notes for anybody that wants to take a listen. But what do you have? What you want to talk about today, Saul?
All right, so I have a couple stories that I've kind of mentioned to Becky. Not too much, not too many details that I've told her. But this is when I was, I'm trying to think, about 14, 15 years old. My neighbor just came home and he had actually bought this game called Devil May Cry. The whole game is about beating demons, and you're a demon, and it's like that you're killing other demons, right? We played that all day because we didn't have a memory stick, so we couldn't turn it off. So we're like, let's see how far we can get in one day without whatever. Are you gonna say something?
No, I just think it's funny.
So we played it all day, almost through the night, and then I'm like, all right, I've got to go, whatever. We didn't get to beat it, so I turned it off. I go to bed. So I'm asleep, and then all of a sudden I feel like airless, like I'm like I don't know if you can see my hands here, but
Nope,
I feel like I'm like this.
I'm gonna.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm like this off the bed.
I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I feel like I'm levitating. I wake up. All of a sudden, I feel like I fall into my bed.
Oh,
my
no.
door swings open in my bedroom, and I hear steps running away. And I'm like, holy moly! Yeah. So I don't know what that was. We kind of attribute it to playing with demons all day, video games with demons all day. I don't know. It was weird. It was a weird one.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you have any other experiences like that afterwards?
At that house, yeah. My brother once said that he had left the door open, and he was sleeping, and he woke up, and he could have sworn he thought it was me standing in the hallway. But because he said he called my name out, I didn't hear him. One other time at the same place, my mom was finishing up in the morning. We had gone to school already. She said she can hear people walking around in the living room. So she yelled at us saying, "What the heck are y'all doing here? You're supposed to be at school already." So she went out there and there was nobody. God. So yeah, so we used to have stuff like that all the time at that house.
Yeah, you lived in a haunted
house.
Sounds
like a prankster.
Yeah.
Let me pick them up for no reason.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and then run off like you're gonna get caught.
You know what I did? You know what? It was a David Copperfield ghost. He was trying to do a trick on me.
He put a hoop like
through you. Exactly.
He's like, look, no strings.
No strings. Oh crap! He's waking up.
Yeah.
And then he ran away when I was waking up. Yeah.
Yeah. All part of the show, guys. Bye.
That's a poltergeist for sure.
But like it's never been anything to where like you see things flying around or things like that. It's always like it's always in the corner of your eye. Just to throw another geekum that I do, and on Doctor Who, where those aliens, the what's it called? The ones when you can't remember.
Yeah.
The silence. Like you turn, you see something, all of a sudden you turn back and you don't. Like they're on the corner of your eye, you see them, but then when you're not seeing them, you forget all about what happened.
It's so weird. I wonder if they got that from
I think that's
reality.
Where they got it
from. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, that's pretty creepy, man.
Yeah.
And so you attributed this to like after you played this video game that was about killing demons and then facing your own demons too?
I'm not sure because you in the game you are a demon that's fighting other demons.
Oh, okay. Well, spoiler, everybody. That is. Did they have any type of like rituals or invocation or anything? Not in the game.
I know of.
That is just so weird. Maybe Ryan was just really open to like receive stuff like that since you'd been kind of absorbed in it in a day.
Maybe,
yeah.
Interesting. Haunted house.
Yeah.
And I have.
Well, how long did you live there?
At that place, from when I was a freshman in high school to about 22, 23. So about good 8 years.
Yeah.
And that's my parents still live
the
there.
entire time?
No. My parents still live there. They haven't had too many issues there.
Mm-hmm.
My brother and my dad, where they refuse to sleep in my old bedroom though. If they ever have to, they don't even use that bedroom. They use it as storage, So
yeah, good riddance. I mean, block that thing up so that nobody can get in there and get levitated again. That'd be an awful thing for a guest to experience.
And just as a side note, I do remember that one time I had some friends stay the night. They did tell me that they heard someone walking back and forth in the hallway. But they didn't want to go look. I didn't hear it, but they just said that they did. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I always think it's interesting when people like continue to hear things. I mean, I know it's not as easy as like, we'll just move, but like people stay through it and it just becomes like the normal. I don't know, man.
So they talk about that, like the people that have experienced that, and the reasoning that they give, I think, is that like, well, we can live through this, so why bother, leaving?
Yeah.
Like, especially if it's not that, like, footsteps is creepy, but it is almost something that you can get used to in a way.
My next thing is the one that really scared me though. This one didn't scare me; it kind of spooked me.
Oh, let's hear this.
So there was it happened like two or three times, but I was having a sleep paralysis kind of moment where I used to have this all the time where like I'd be asleep, and all of a sudden I'd wake up and I can feel like I was awake, but I couldn't pick my hand up, I couldn't move my fingers, anything like that. And it's that whole thing, like just move one finger. That's all, like just like that. And I couldn't happen. Well, one of these times I felt like something come over me and just start like nudging on my shoulder, like pushing me. And then I'm just there, like paralyzed, I'm like, oh crap, what's going on? And then all of a sudden I feel like something get on top of me and just start like push, like rocking me, like my shoulders. I'm like, what the heck? And it happened about 3 or 4 times. And that's the only thing that really scared me in the house. But that happened during that house. But other than that, I can't say that I'm scared to go back home or anything like that. I haven't had sleep paralysis in this house since. I haven't had sleep paralysis for about 10 years now. So
wow, that's insane.
And it was in that room.
Yeah.
That nobody will go into now because when you open the door, there's toys swirling in the air, and your closet is sucking everything in.
Well, I say I would attribute it to that, but I was just messy. So, but no, like I said, nothing like you can't see things moving around like that. So I'm not sure what it is about that room, but people are afraid to live in that room.
Yeah, that's the heart of the house, as they would say in the Poltergeist. Yeah, in the Poltergeist movie. Yeah.
When was the Poltergeist? Do you know when the house was built?
It's actually a pre-manufactured home, so it was brand new when we got it.
Gotcha.
So I don't know if the land we were at really have anything to do with it, but it used to be a crop field. So it was like down in South Texas. There's a lot of agriculture going on, and as the city extends, they start buying these fields. They used to grow cotton or corn, and they just start building on those lots. They start improving those lots and building on them. So I don't know if there was anything to do with that there. So,
I mean, anytime you have corn, there's always something creepy going on, right?
He who walks behind the rose.
Yeah.
If anyone knows what that is, that's from Stephen King.
Is it the Children of the Corn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the name of their thing that they worship. He who walks behind the rose.
Oh, yeah, that was basically in your house. So, and so you had kind of the classic sleep paralysis, I guess, experience where you felt like somebody was pushing on your chest. Did you ever get to see it, or were you ever able to open your eyes?
No.
Probably for the best, in my opinion. Like, I wouldn't want to see that either.
No.
Wow.
Never saw anything other than I never felt anything other than actually on me other than that that time. Mm-hmm.
What did you experience as far as like feelings? Was it just fear, or I mean, obviously it was fear, but
yeah.
Did you think that this thing was? Did you feel like it was evil or going to try to kill you or anything like that?
No, I'm not sure what I'm not even don't remember what it was that I felt.
Yeah.
It was just like, what the heck is going on? You know, like when am I going to actually be able to move? Because there's been other times where I have like a sleep paralysis moment where nothing happens. It's just where just like, all right, like, let's see how long it takes for me to wake up now fully.
Yeah.
And I know it's the whole thing of like your body waking up before your mind does. Mm-hmm. But like, why is it it's at that moment where you can probably feel these things? Because your mind's open now. You're awake, but your body isn't.
Yeah, that is that is the question. Like, why do we experience this stuff in that state? Is it because that's the best time? That's whenever we're open to these things happening. Like, Lindsay, you have a theory about visiting other people's dreams and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever you sleep.
That's why your wife gets so mad at you in her dreams. When she has a bad dream that like you cheated on her or you were with another woman, they're mad because that's what you were doing in your dream, and she knows it. She knows it.
She got you.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you though, Becky. It's because when you're in that state, you're in that like sweet spot for like slipping in and out, in my opinion, like slipping in and out of dimensions, or that's also lucid dreaming, which is like the precursor to what's it called that I like?
Astral projection.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, there's been times where I've been like I'll wake up from a dream and I'm like, oh, this is a pretty cool dream. I'll be able to go back to sleep and actually go back into the same dream.
Oh, yeah. That's cool.
That's the best.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I'll go sleep back right now. I might be able to go back in. Yeah. And I'm able to go back into the same dream. So it's just weird.
That's cool. You must have I don't know. You must just be lucky because it takes a lot of people that too. Because you can do lucid dreaming, you can practice it, but it takes time and it takes like a lot of documentation and stuff like that. So you're lucky that you just get to, it's just natural to you.
Well, no, it's not like I do it every night or anything like that. It's every once in a while I'll be able to do it.
Yeah, that's cool. That is cool.
Okay, so was this, were there other homes that were around you, or was it just your home and then a large piece of land?
No, there's the subdivisions are pretty, the lots are pretty close together. So I would say there's about a maximum of 20 feet between homes.
Yeah, I was trying to think of we had another story that was in a subdivision like that, but it was well, I think I was trying to see if there were any parallels between any other stories that we had that were in subdivisions like the one that you lived in, where there was paranormal stuff that happened. Because we don't get a ton of those stories. And I don't think we've had one that's like haunted. We've had one where we thought that it was a dogman or a murderer. And then we've had another one where it was like aliens, but we haven't had like hauntings. So
I'm a first.
I was trying to think of what it could be tied to. And I just can't tie to anything besides the creepy land. I mean,
I'm just going to throw this out there, but it might be Saul or your family.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause it was in your room. Do you have any other experiences outside of that home?
Once more in the room.
Oh my God.
Well, this was more of a what's it called? I didn't know what to think about it once because my parents, my mom and my dad. My mom's from Mexico. My dad was born here, but his family, his like grandparents and all that were in Mexico. So one time, after I graduated high school, they actually ended up going to Mexico for 2 weeks, and I couldn't go because I had to work. So I'm home alone for 2 weeks. Nothing really happened during that time frame there, except for one time I think it was a Saturday night, and I fell asleep early that day, went to bed, and then all of a sudden I wake up like around 3:11, something like that. because I hear a bunch of dogs barking. I'm like, oh crap! One of the neighbor's dogs got loose, and now it's rallying up all the neighborhood dogs, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I wake up, and I'm trying to go back to bed, and I can't go back to bed because of the stupid dogs. So I look through my window, and there's no dogs out there. I'm like, what the heck?
Oh my god!
So I'm like, okay. So usually what happens is that a neighborhood dog will go loose and it'll be running around, and as it's running around, it's rolling up all the other ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so there's no dogs out there, and I'm like, okay. Well, this is when I go back to bed and look at the clock, because I have a thing where I have to look. I have to know what time it is when I wake up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I do that. I go back to bed. Well, then early the next morning, around 6:30, I hear my phone going off, so I answer it, and it's my aunt telling me that the night before they had to rush my uncle to the hospital, and that he had passed away at 3:11 in the morning. So I was like, what the heck? So yeah, I woke up the time that he passed away.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. That that is so interesting that you and Greg kind of share that type of experience, because he had the same thing. Were you close to? Yeah, were you close to your uncle?
I can't say we were close, but I didn't really know what he was up to at any given point, right? But they did live with us for about a year and a half when they first, because they were from Colorado, they moved down to Texas, and so for about the first year and a half they were there with us. So that's got to be about the closest that I can say we have. But no real like we went out and did stuff now.
Yeah. Wow, that is insane. And you were woken up by dogs barking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, did he have any ties to dogs or anything like that?
Yeah.
Not any of the dogs that I had that time. He did have a connection with one of my other older dogs that he actually gave us. One of his friends was not going to be able to take care of their dog anymore, and they were trying to rehome it before they had to pretty much give it to a shelter where they were going to put him down. And he brought it over to our house to see if we wanted it. My mom fell in love with it and kept and we kept it until he passed away. So, until the dog passed away. And that was the dog that no matter when it was that he came over, he would always be happy to see him and all that. So I don't know, maybe it was that ghost dog that woke me up or whatever. So I'm not sure.
Maybe you were just like like you just happened to be woken up because he was visiting the dog.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe he went to go visit that dog. Maybe the dog was waiting for him to pass over.
Maybe, yeah.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I know, ghosts are sweet.
Ghost dogs are sweet.
Yeah.
Most of them.
Yeah, sure. We can't say all ghost dogs are good because we just don't know.
So the majority of your experiences are in that home?
Yeah. Most of my personal ones. My mom has had some experiences back in Mexico. My mom's my aunt, my mom's sister, she's had some like reoccurring experiences back whenever she goes back home to her house, back where my mom grew up.
Wow.
So she doesn't go back because she has like reoccurring things that happen when she goes back there.
So she's so traumatized by it, or just that she just avoids it. That's incredible. Poor thing. Yep.
So yeah, as far as occurrences in the house, I think that's about it. I can't remember anything else that actually happened in the house that I can remember that I can say happened to me, or my family that they've actually told us. But like I said, there's still that uneasiness that they don't want to sleep in that room.
Man.
Dude.
Yeah.
You've had some pretty creepy shit happen, dude.
And look how well adjusted he's come out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
You can face anything now. Well, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing those. with us. I think I always get kind of jealous whenever people have these type of experiences, because I never have. And like, that's kind of what I want my whole life. So I think the show is just me living vicariously through other people's stories and being like, yeah, I wish that was me.
Well, see, my dad used to, because my dad used to work at a oil mill, and it's one of these places when you get up, you see these big old metal buildings, right? And what it is, can you hear that?
Yeah.
It's my sister-in-law's.
Oh.
It's the ghost. I know. But these oil mills have been around for years and years. And his coworkers would always tell him that those places are haunted, that there's ghosts up in there's ladders that connect one, or you can see me, connect one place to the other one. There's big old silos pretty much. And he said that they would see people walking up there when there's nobody supposed to be checking those. And he says he never saw anything, but he never went looking for them. And he goes, the thing is that one of his friends was always saying, I want to find one, I want to see one, and he never did. And what his thing was is that since he's wanting to see it, it's not going to happen. It's going to only happen when you're like not, you're not paying attention, or you're not looking for it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's my problem, is that I just want it to happen so bad that it's never going to happen. It's like, quit being desperate, girl.
Becky, do you remember, I think for a while we were scared of my bedroom growing up because of the stuff that I would hear. But one of the things that always happened to me in that house is that I would always hear Mom calling my name. And I'd always like hear it and get up and like go and be like, what did you need? Or I'd go wherever and she wasn't there. And I was like, fucking Mom called my name. Like, I don't know. There was a lot of name calling.
I think, Lindsay, in your case, you had something attached to you, because that happened in, I feel like, almost every house that we lived in whenever you were a kid. Yeah. So,
do you remember me talking about it as a kid? Would I ever be like, did Mom call us?
Yeah.
Oh,
weird.
That's so creepy.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's crazy. I don't know.
Yeah. Sorry, my dog is here. She has seizures now, and so I can't shut her out anymore.
Was she wagging her tail?
She's just staring at me. She wants me to get her something to eat. So, anyways, well, thank you for sharing those stories with us, Saul. Do you have anything else that you wanted to talk about?
I do have another story that's not my story, my own personal story, but it's my mom's story.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
So I don't know. Do you all know what duendes are?
No, you told me that, but I didn't look it up or anything. So
these are like gnome-like creatures. And in
what
Mexico,
are they called?
Duendes.
Okay.
I'll send you the writings. You can put it in there. But they're like gnome-like creatures. Some people say they're like Smurfs.
Okay.
But depending on where you are in Mexico, they have different beliefs on what they do. Some of them people believe that they're there to guard the house, and some people believe that they're malevolent. They're actually there to do harm. So one of the stories that I heard was that my mom, when she was young, she would every once in a while she would have to sleep with her grandmother, and back then when my mom was young, they didn't have rooms that connected together. They had a building of a set of rooms, but you'd have to go outside to go into the other room. And then from there was another level up. You had to go upstairs, but you were not connected in the house. So there was just a series of rooms, And the grandmother's room, or my great-grandmother's room, was off to the side, but you had to walk a distance to get there, out in the middle of the night. So for whatever reason, she had to stay in that room because nobody else was going to be there. And they had the lantern on because they didn't have electricity back then, out in the middle of nowhere in Mexico.
Yeah.
So she said that she would be trying to go to sleep, and then you can see the shadows of these little duendes playing around outside the window. And then she can see them running. And she said she never really felt anything until she fell asleep. She felt like one of them was trying to pull her hand to mess with her. Well, she had told me that story when I was younger, and I've always been fascinated. I think that's why I've been fascinated from this stuff, because my mom went through it now, and then I kind of went through it too. But one time when we were in Mexico, we all decided, well, let's just tell our little scary stories. Well, my mom told that story, and my grandpa said, "Yep, those windows are tough to get rid of." And they're like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, they used to visit me when I was young." And he said they never came into the house, but when he was trying to sleep, he'd wake up and they would be there at the door for him, kind of just like doing this to him, like looking at him. And he said that no matter what he did, they wouldn't go away. And each time he'd wake up, he'd open up his eyes, they would be there looking at him until morning. So it's one of those things. Like my mom saw them once when she was young, but my grandfather saw them all the time when he was young.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That is crazy. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So some of, like I said, some people believe that they guard the house, so they'll actually leave little treats out for them so they can eat. And there's a place. You're supposed to have looks like a little troll doll, a little gnome, for every little one you see, because it's supposed to help them like stay in your house to make sure they protect it. If you do not, that they're supposed to. I don't know the full folklore on this, but they can turn on you and they can become malevolent if you do not respect them or something like that. To the point where people actually believe that they have left changelings in place of their children.
Wow. So
that's another thing. So like I said, there's a big variety of stories that go on because of these things, but no one really knows what the. I wouldn't be able to tell you what story goes where, what part of Mexico believes in this type of story.
Right.
Are they supposedly small people, or are they okay? So they're like
little gnomes.
Yeah, that is so cool. It's weird. It's not weird, but it's interesting that you hear these stories kind of all over the world. So I've never heard of the duendes in Mexico, but then they have like elves or something similar in
hobgoblins.
Like in Norway and in like Ireland or Scotland or whatever. Like there's stories about these little people all over the place, and it's the same thing. They can either be tricksters or they can be helpful. And I think that in Norway, I may be wrong, usually I am, but in one of those countries, like they won't cultivate the land because or make any type of overpass or change this property into something for people to consume, because they don't want to disturb the elves. Like it's really bad luck.
I think it's like when they see a little structure of stone or something like that's supposed to be like that's where they live or something like that.
Yeah, and they have
Have you ever heard of or have you ever listened to Lore, the podcast? He has one specifically on that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
that might have been where all this information came from. Our sources are Lore.
Do you remember when I was a kid? You told me that little people lived in the vase on the bookshelf. Yeah,
that was a lie. That was a complete lie. We didn't see anything. There was nothing there. We just told you that to fuck you. So.
Okay. All
Sorry.
Right.
Oh, have you ever seen Cat's Eye?
It's been a very long time. That's an old movie, isn't it?
Yeah. James Woods comes out in it. Drew Barrymore comes out in it.
Wow.
She's a little girl in it, but it's based on 3 stories of Stephen King. And there's a little troll gnome kind of thing that comes out in it. That's what I kind of envision.
Okay. Yeah. I'll have to look into that and see.
I have seen that. I just forgot all about it.
I'm not surprised.
It's claymation-ish, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It's like,
the cat, it fights the cat.
Yeah.
The cat win?
Yeah.
Of course it does.
Well, that's the name of the movie is called Cat's Eye. Because the cat's not really a part of the stories, but he's there in the area when it's happening.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll have to check that out and see. Neato.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much for sharing, Saul. How can people get a hold of you?
You can catch me on Twitter. I have a couple of Twitter accounts that I feel like I'm all over the place with them. Sometimes I answer from the wrong account. Sometimes you can find me on Twitter at nerdsftc. That's for my Nerds from the Crypt, and also at better_call me. And you can listen to Nerds from the Crypt and Waiting on a Miracle on pretty much any platform that what's it called, where you can hear podcasts. We are actually switching Nerds from the Crypt over to the Spoilerverse. That's where another of your guests, Greg and Travis, who came on not too long ago, right?
Yeah.
Where they host their podcast. Greg's actually one of my co-hosts for Nerds from the Crypt, and we're moving over to the same network there. So they're going to be what's it called, hosting our podcast now, as well as Waiting on a Miracle.
Awesome. So I can leave that information in the show notes if anybody wants to get in contact you. And are you looking for guests to be on your show for Waiting on your Miracle? Okay.
Yes. For Waiting on a Miracle, we're looking for anyone who has had any issues with infertility, whether it be still going on or have had an outcome. We want people to join us and tell us what they went through, and pretty much like an interview style episode where we're talking back and forth, and to tell us what their story, and that way people can find out that they're not alone. And I think that's really why this podcast came on, because my wife was going through it, and she just asked me, what if we did this and we allow people to see that they're not alone, because that's what she felt like. She felt like she didn't know who to talk to about this stuff. Well, we're here for y'all to talk about, and I'm in the podcast because I'm her husband, but also because the husband or the partner should also be part of that journey. So there's a lot of things that I think I could have done better, or I should have done better, that I've learned from. So while we go through our journey, I'm going to say, well, this is where I was coming from. I didn't know this was going on, because it's a difficult thing to talk about for women sometimes, and something that men should be, or the partner should be aware of.
Yeah, that's really good. I think that I hope that you get a lot of listeners. It sounds like an amazing show that needs to be out there. Definitely.
Yes,
so
and we actually have a Facebook group that you can actually join. If I can send you that link. If y'all want to be part of that discussion group, would not necessarily come on the podcast, you can also join us there, and you can talk to us after we get past a couple of things. We're wanting to share a little bit more information that we find online and share them as articles or whatever on that Facebook group.
Cool. So it's also a resource place.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Awesome. Well, I'll make sure to put that all in the show notes. And thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. I think I had been bugging you, or like, I can go back.
Yeah, it's been kind of hard to get together with everything that's going on.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that we were able to do this.
No, that's thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, anytime.
Of course.
We'll come back anytime. Yeah.
Yeah.
And did we tell them that you had 2 episodes with us as well? Lindsay has 1 episode. Becky has 2.
Oh yeah. So Lindsay and I were on the I'm so sorry. Every single time.
I know. It's all my fault. You did.
It's one of our best episodes.
Yeah. We reviewed Teeth on Nerds from the Crypt. Lindsay and I did, and somehow we're still friends, and I appreciate that so much. But you also got like an offer to do what a dental sponsorship or something like that.
That was so weird. Yeah.
We will definitely take responsibility for that. Like, you're welcome. And then I also reviewed, I can't even remember what the movie was called. Do you remember? Rabid. That's right. Yeah. About a woman who had a penis in her armpit. That's why Saul asked me to come on.
I would have been perfect for that one.
I know, Lindsay, you couldn't for some reason. There wasn't a legit reason. Yeah. So
I think I had asked you about it before we even watched the movie. So it was just like a coincidence that it was like, this is very similar to the last one we did.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
I know. It turned out to be a pretty good movie, so check that out. Also check out that episode from Nerds from the Crypt, and I'll leave links to all those shows too. And so, yeah, cool. Alrighty.
Well, if anybody else wants to share their story, please do so. You can send it to ihaveastrangestorypodcast@gmail.com, or you can send it to us through Instagram or Facebook.
Subscribe, rate, and review us. If you do rate us or review us, please give us a nice review and take a snapshot of that. Send it to our email address with your physical mailing address, and we will mail you some stickers. And until next time. Bye.
Bye.